All right, so we begin. Last time, you guys you traveled all the way through Hexwell, went to Acquaintances, met some horses, took a carriage. You have a Teddy Tours carriage that you have. Strapped to the side, nice emblem, and a great, fine, brand new almost. Made it all the way across. You guys met Gerald Strom, the Stormkeeper of Acquaintances, where you guys freed some of the I'd say towns nearby from the elementals that were flaring up from the storm site nearby. After doing so, you then went to meet up with Micah Barrick, Jonah's son, who you were supposed to bring 200 gold and a little toy to. When you did so, you walked in and realized that the conditions were awful. Spoke briefly, and after just being there a little bit, Gildor summoned up the courage to want to rescue some of these orphans and not only take Micah, but the other 6 that were standing before you that were presented when March thought you were different individuals. After a little while, you guys walked the orphans back out into your caravan, went back towards your newly acquired house after relieving the elementals from the land, and now are there, and you guys have not rested yet, but are in the basically purpose of just coming back to your place. So what do you guys want to do? You guys are with Grendridge, not Dynasty.
Right.
So you guys are now just basically at your somewhat awesome shambled tower, and that's about all you guys know. Yeah, and you guys have, and they're not slaves
Right
yet.
now.
until Gildor puts them to work.
Enslaving them. That's fucked up.
Now these,
Assuming the skeleton's gonna enslave a bunch of kids, it's fucked up.
No,
That's racist.
no, you would kill them and then use the skeletons.
No, I don't need
all the kids'
skeletons
names.
anymore. Make skeletons.
Yeah.
All the kids' names were Micah Barrick, and then you didn't know the other last names, but you had Sydney, Oxford, LaVale, Tylen, Riven, and Reeser.
Wait, didn't somebody have like a list?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I have it.
I have a list, yes.
Well, you knew that. You knew that.
They didn't give last names, but yeah.
No, you knew that Sydney is a female dwarf. She's pretty good at sewing,
Yeah.
and she is okay at like housework. That's what she was doing at the orphanage. Oxford is really good at like yard work, cutting wood, baling hay, working in the fields. You have Lavelle, who is a human who is honestly doesn't want to do anything. He's kind of like a stubborn brat. Honestly, he doesn't really say. He's kind of closed off from just the short time you've known him. Tylen, there's something off about him. He doesn't really talk that much, and he speaks in an awkward voice, even though he appears as some gnome. But you notice that as you have traveled with him, his hands every once in a while change and are bigger and change color. You also notice that the 2 identical twins, Riven and Reeser, though one's female and one's male, they both have long hair. They're darker complected elves, but they're really, really good children. Speak politely, have really well mannered, really well kept clothes, but you don't really know their talents. You haven't known them long enough to really spoken with. That's pretty much what you get know at this point. So, what do you guys want to do? You guys are back at your place.
Oh, show the kids in. Yes.
All right, so you walking them in?
Yeah.
All right, so you walk in. You walk into the first room, and it's one of the only rooms that's actually still fully kept together. Most of the other rooms have like huge holes in them or are just kind of shambled in many ways. It has immediately to your right like a spiraling stairwell. It's quite large. It could easily fit like 3 people wide. It's almost like 10 to 15. The house in itself is like almost probably entirely just the upstairs, probably like 3,500 square feet total. Though it is mostly, kind of vertical, but it's about 2 to 3 rooms wide, and then it kind of goes up and gets narrower as it goes. But yeah, you walk in, and most of the kids, they kind of turn, and they all look around, and it kind of looks like a shithole. Oxford kind of, he walks forward. Well, what is this? Just, what is this?
This is your new home.
They all just kind of look at each other. You see the twins.
Better than fucking nothing.
This isn't too bad, I guess.
I'm gonna start using prioritization and just cleaning the place up.
Okay, so at least in the first room, it's dark. At this point, it's, I'd say, getting to be dusk. You guys walk in, it's completely dark. You kind of, in a quick moment, take a moment and get rid of all the dust and dirt. You kind of plaster up some of what wall wasn't falling back into the other parts that is. It looks a little bit better. There's a couple doors, and the stairwell that was kind of shambling down is now put back together. The kids kind of turn and just stare at you as you do this and are like, and then you see one of the twins, he just kind of leans back. He's like, see, I got it. We don't got to do anything. And he immediately just goes and sits in a corner.
Does not repair it.
No, that's fine. You're just cleaning it up. The first room is kind of okay. The rest of the, I'd say, establishment is going to need a lot of love. Like, this is probably the only room that you could probably sleep in without, like, a draft or a rain getting in.
Like I said, when we first rolled up, this is not a great place yet. This is something that we have to build. I would like to build it together with you all. I said it before, I'll say it again. The more work you put in to make it nice, the nicer it'll be. We have every intention of aiding in that, but I want this to be your home first and foremost.
And at this point, as you're just kind of talking, you notice that off in kind of the corner where you thought, you know, everybody was just kind of sitting there and listening, you see one of the kids, Tylen, he just kind of stands there, and in a moment, this gnome immediately just kind of, its head turns from a gnome into like this short still, but this head of like this white, like you can tell it's like a changeling. And then it kind of shapes back into a gnome, and he kind of just looks around, and one of the girls next to him just kind of sitting, he just kind of elbows him. He starts laughing.
He's laughing at him?
They're both laughing.
Oh, they're laughing together.
Yeah. You just notice that he's a changeling.
Boy. Boy?
Yeah.
Boy.
He kind of looks, and you see he's kind of going, he's like, what?
So, you can change, can you?
And you just kind of see his hands, and they just go, and they just change into like almost like these paws. And then they change back into white hands, and then back into no hands. He's like,
What a quinky-dink. And I will turn into a full-size rhinoceros.
and half the kids are just like, "Ugh," and he's just like, "Oh,
And then I'll turn right back.
that's awesome."
Correct.
I can't control mine very well.
If you need help, I know a thing or two.
He kind of takes off part of his robe, and you notice now that he just kind of goes into his natural form. He grows about 2 feet, and he's about 4.5 feet, 5 feet tall. All these kids are about 14 to 16, except for Micah, about 5.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, in their mid-teens. Oxford is pretty built. He's hit puberty, and at this point, he's kind of just looking around like, well, what am I doing? If we're staying here, it's going to be night, but I want to do something.
What do you think we should do?
I don't know. What are you guys doing? Tennessee's just like,
Frederick?
Lord God. Oh my God. Brenda just turns. He goes out the back, and you see him. He just walks out the door. He's like, real quick. And he just starts, and you see him walk to the carriage. All right, so you just kind of go around. You start cleaning up. What are you doing, Gildor?
We need supplies to fix this shit up. Fuck, get those.
You see Ribbon Sheep in town. Go in town and get some.
Yes. from my understanding, this town is in the process of rebuilding, so I assume that there are in fact building supplies.
What time of day is it?
Night, about 8 p.m.
Late.
Oxford chimes in. Yeah, we could either cut down the trees and do it ourselves, or, well, go in town and buy the materials.
Do a mix of both.
Yeah, I feel like that's business.
Yeah.
You just hear Grandridge outside, like, I'm fucking sleeping in.
Are there like straw beds, cots?
Nothing.
You said it's quite late in the evening.
Yeah, it's about 8,
Okay.
8:30. What you guys doing?
Night.
Chilling?
Um,
Everybody huddling up in the one house, in the one room?
No,
yeah.
I'm
Sleeping?
laying down.
Is there a broom closet?
There is, and you go to open it, and then you can just see out the back, and there's just darkness and a huge hole ripped agape, and it's a broom closet, but
Exposed to animals.
exposed. It could possibly be a new addition to a patio if you wanted.
In this room, is there like a fireplace? No.
You just there's the only structure is the stairwell, and then behind the stairwell is what would lead underground. You see like the stairwell that goes down, and then one that goes up. Okay, so you go underground. You go over and you notice there's like a little, almost like a trap door that you open, and as you go down, it's a ladder. Those stairs. You climb down the ladder, and as you drop down the first level, you notice it is all dirt. As you look around, completely fine now. There's a couple worms and whatnot, but it looks as if it's almost like 1,000 square foot room, and then you see almost in another, like I'd say, 50 feet on the other side of the room, like another hole with what looks to be another ladder with a small little lantern on the ground next.
See what that room looks like.
Okay, so you go
There's
over.
always something more of that.
No, it's completely pitch dark, so can you see? All right, you're good. So you just walk over and you walk on down. Again, you drop down in a slightly smaller room, about 750 square foot. Still just wide open dirt. Well put together, but now it's instead of just dirt, it's starting to get into like a little bit more clay. You see a little bit of almost like some maybe materials or whatever would be rock or something, some sort of like possibly ore that is kind of protruding on one side that has been like kind of excavated back to form this. And once again, about another 30 feet on the other side of the room, you see another lantern with another drop down.
I'm going down again.
You go over and once again you look down and there's another I'd say about a 400 square foot room that drops down, and at the very bottom almost like a drainage hole that you see, and as it does you notice that there's like a covering, something that has been like dropped down, and it almost like concaves down, so in case of flooding or some sort of way you think would excavate the water out. Not that you can see, no. Now give me a investigation check if you're really like going around here.
No, it was not obvious. I wanted to ask. I wanted to bother actually searching.
Oh, it's
No, this is no. Unless you're
So it's not just obviously a whole, like first two.
What's your passive perception?
Passive?
Okay. It should be pretty high. It could be like 14 or 15.
14.
I'd say on the very bottom door, or the very bottom level, the room's small enough that as you kind of go and look at the drain, you kind of see off on the opposite wall some sort of almost like dirt that almost has like a section out of it that has been like shifted just enough, and you see about a crack about that much that's just off that kind of reveals darkness farther in.
I'm gonna cast light so I can already in the room.
All right, so you light up a basic illumination of it. It's a pretty clean room. There's some debris from the storm.
How fragile does that crack look?
Not very fragile. It looks, now that you can actually see it, almost looks as if like there's a section out of the wall that actually like is removable or possibly like movable in itself, and the crack is like almost looks like created or man-made in a way.
I want to try to that.
All right, so you walk up, give me a strength check. $15. So you walk up, and as you put your hands on both sides of it and you go and like kind of pull it, start You dig in with your feet and you start pulling and you notice it starts to give. It's quite tough at first, and as it gives, you feel your feet, something gives out and you give out and you drop into a dark hole and you see the dirt above you just covering and start just flooding in on top of you, and you just see dirt piling in on top of you. It starts literally almost like drowning you in dirt. And you're actually probably about 60 to 65 feet underground. So as this is happening, you're just almost suffocating in dirt now, as this seems to be some sort of trap door that's happened underneath.
Sending work.
So while this is happening, what are the rest of you guys doing while...
Down there with the...
Nope.
You also take 7 points of bludgeoning
Do I
damage.
have to speak to you, Cindy?
So, while he's down here panicking,
7 points?
you see Oxford. Yeah, there's materials that we could get from town. I can go maybe see what trees are nearby and start maybe gathering at least probably 1 or 2 by tonight's end.
At this time? This time of night, we could get materials from the town?
There's been a storm recently. I mean, probably up until maybe 11 or later. I mean, at least until most of the buildings are prepared.
I mean, at least for tonight, we could try to get some kind of like blankets. Something for everyone to sleep in.
Heading back into town would probably be the best idea. Bedding, food.
Everyone's coming. We don't know anything about this.
All the kids are coming? Yeah.
I think all the kitchen. Unless someone's staying back with.
At that point, you just see Tylen. He's just like, I don't want to go. I'd like the changeling.
Okay.
Sydney doesn't want to go either. She's the dwarf. Oxford's willing to go. Twins are willing to go. But the rest seem like they don't really care to go.
Let's stay.
Where's life?
So at this point,
Went downstairs.
you notice that you're about 12 to 18 feet deep in this hole. It's about 4 to 5 feet
Is it
wide.
getting like deeper?
No, but that's just how far he fell.
Okay.
The dirt around you and on top of you starts literally just piling in. And you see that the makeshift door that you started to like push, you start seeing almost like this lever that is extending it on top of it that you didn't notice at first that was holding it. It's starting to like close in on top of the hole that was created. It's gonna like drop in on top and like seal it.
I'm gonna attempt to claw my way out.
All right, give me an athletics check. Cause shit. I mean,
Is he-
actually.
You said he's like starting to suffocate. Can he speak? Oh, you don't have to prepare.
Yeah, even if I could, I don't have prepared, so...
You don't message with cantrip at all? Nothing? No, that only goes like 30 feet though, doesn't it?
What's the loudest thing I got?
Maturity?
Most spells have a vocal component.
God, for this local moment.
I mean, yeah, but are you?
No, you're not. He's not suffocating yet. You have dirt coming in.
So you can breathe.
You're about. How
Breathe.
tall are you? How tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay, you're actually. You got time from. You got like 3 to 4 seconds because the first initial
Okay.
push is 5 feet.
You got round.
So,
Figure
I'm
it
going
out.
to cast Helmet Energy.
Okay.
Just make a big old, like, boom, like, in my area. And also make my way out. Like, boom.
Like an audible.
Yeah, how long?
Sounds
How,
like a
thunderclap.
is it, how loud is that? I don't know how
It doesn't
loud
specify.
thaumaturgy is.
I don't think thaumaturgy.
I'm gonna
specifies.
say.
So, you can create an instantaneous sound that originates from the point of your choice within range.
Okay,
Such
so
as a rumble of thunder, cry of a raven, or ominous.
I want you guys to give me a perception check.
I'm doing that.
So as you are feeling this dirt just start piling on, you're just like
So, what was the check I had to do again?
athletics.
I got a 9. I got lower than that.
Well,
Oh. So you start trying to pull up after this boom, realizing that might not be heard, and you start just digging in. As you do so, you notice that the walls are so dry that they are just giving underneath. There's no handles. There's nothing to grab onto. This is meant for a trap. You're not gonna be able to climb out. You can try, but it's not happening.
how crumbly are these walls? Like,
Walls are crumbling.
I just start digging like forward a little bit.
You can kind of start tunneling in. You notice that as like the dirt's kind of falling on top, you kind of like start kind of trying to mound yourself up on the dirt, you know, like trying to keep up with it, but it's just piling on too fast. There's no way you could like keep up with this in your armor and gear and everything. What'd you roll?
At 12.
Why did I go down by
I mean, my
myself?
passive perception.
Let's see if Grendridge is going to be able to hear.
I mean, my passive perception is 18.
He's outside.
Yeah, he went to the.
Well,
yeah.
no, 10. No, you're done. So about, I'd say, another 15 seconds go by. You're going to take another 7 points of
We
damage.
should see if Life wants to go to the town.
Well, yeah, you went downstairs. It's been a minute.
After a moment, you hear one of the twins, Reeser, you kind of... Who?
The tiefling.
Haven't seen him in a minute.
Either. Alright, let's go check on this guy.
Alright, so who's going first?
I will, that's fine.
Alright, so you go down one ladder and you look around. There's no life.
There's no life. There's literally no.
No, I'm still alive.
Where's this guy at? There's a ladder on the other side of the room. Let's go.
Give me another perception check as you guys go down this next layer.
Well, I mean, the room that I am in, there's a light cast, so there is light
6.
in that room.
Oh, that's right.
No, you're in the bottom layer when you cast the light.
Yes.
Right, but they're on the first.
I know, but when they get down there,
Right. They'll start seeing it illuminate from. Yeah. But they gotta go. Wait, so one more.
14.
What are we doing?
Perception?
Oh.
If you're dropping down to see if you
Same
can.
as the first. Let's garbage.
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh. 8.
So, Orem, he looks around, doesn't see shit. He thinks, that noise. And just for a moment,
Yeah.
one of the orphans from above, Oxford. Sorry, I fought it.
Damn, you're gassy.
You see another hole at the other side. Do you go to the other side?
I mean, these guys gotta be somewhere. Where the fuck this guy disappeared to?
You kind of see footprints that have been walked in the dirt as you kind of go over.
Just kept going.
You look down, and as you now go down to the next floor, you now see nothing, but you see light. And now, give me an athletics check, because now you're just trying to keep up with actually not suffocating. No?
Do I have that spell prepared?
Okay, so now you're actually suffocating, so give me a Constitution saving
I
throw.
mean, you have Mulder.
Dude, I don't know if that works.
I don't know if character.
So
We don't know what's going on.
I can. It's, as long as I have line of sight. Then
Or just this is just a Constitution check. Sorry.
he's not quite buried yet.
14.
No, he just.
I am suffocating right now.
He's not completely covered. Is he completely covered?
14.
14. So yes, he is now completely covered. He failed his basically last 2 athletics, not being able to keep up with the dirt, and now you're suffocating. You kind of understanding that this is probably one of your last breaths before you try and just dig a small hole.
You can hold your breath.
But you've started to hold it, and
I
you
think it's an amount of time equal to your.
you got about 2
minutes.
Yeah, what's your Constitution modifier?
I think it's minutes.
Suffering.
Plus 3, so you can hold it for about 4 minutes. So as of right now, you're like hoping. You guys have gone to the second layer, and you're like, man, this is a pretty cool house we got here. It's, needs some work. It's got some dirt everywhere, but we finish it
We
up.
got some room to play with.
Yeah, finish it up a little bit. The ceilings are about the ceilings are about 10, and as you go deeper, they're higher. So like the second floor is about 15 feet. You guys see the light illuminating, and you guys go down and drop down. And as you do so, you drop down into the lowest level. You look around, and you just see from above, almost like a fall going in like a slant, and then just flowing into this hole that you see is dirt, just gliding in from some sort of like opening area that seems to have been opened. And as you see that, you see some sort of like chain that's attached to some rock that seems to be just like leveraging down, like, and now it's about halfway closed. And the dirt is starting to stop filling up and starting to hit the back of it as it's like almost closed. And at this point, you hear nothing and you just see light and this happening. What do you guys do?
There's like a trap. It looks as if there's like a trap door closing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Did you fall in a hole? What the fuck's going
I don't see him, and there's no other doors or anything.
Give me wisdom checks, everybody.
I was gonna say this thing is closing currently. Good at those. Nope,
Ooh, not 20.
22.
20. Like,
Okay, so both of you look and you're like, that's a trap. You look at the door. You look at the door and you're like, that's closing on dirt. And then you see footsteps basically, and you kind of are starting to put together.
Here comes the investigation check to disable the trap.
I mean,
18.
18. So you look and you just see that the trap's actually done. The dirt has fully been basically brought out of this, whatever storage unit it was.
Yeah.
And now the thing is just waiting to be closed. Your investigation will be able to decipher that literally if you can just cog or, jam whatever this cog is from turning, it'll stop, or just break the chain. But if you break the chain, it's just going to clump onto the lid and then you'll have to remove the stone. So either way.
I'm gonna tell fuck this to get that door open. Because he's big, strong.
Currently, the door is still open.
Yeah, it's about like 45 degree over the hole,
Yeah.
and it's starting to come down on it. And now the dirt has completely been, just drawn up all the way onto it. The hole you can see is like almost filled.
I'm gonna and we know that there's dirt.
Yep, inside it.
All right, I'm gonna start sprinting, and I'm gonna try and get inside this the
hole. So you just slide in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you run up and then you give me a acrobatics check.
This game. Oh, that's pretty good. Acrobatics
Yep.
is 18 total.
All right, so you kind of run up, taking off. It's only about 15, 20 feet. You kind of go and then you slide. And as you do, you slide in, you drop about 5 feet down, and then you just hit dirt. But as you do so, you're now in about a 4 foot by 4 foot wide circular area, and you just feel dirt, and above you, you just hear as you're starting to close.
Yep.
I'm gonna
As
sprint up.
Okay, so you're right up and
I'm
grabbing
gonna
on.
take a javelin
Okay.
and see if I can jam it into the cog.
All right, so you go. It's right above actually in the wall.
Okay.
So you run up and you just give me just an attack.
as I'm sliding in,
Yep.
I am wild shaping. I used one for a rhinoceros. I got one left.
18.
Okay.
I am transforming into a cave badger, which has a burrow speed of 15 feet.
All right.
And is a tunneler, so when I burrow, it leaves a tunnel behind.
Dope. How far is the tunnel? How big are you? Does it say?
Guys, I'm a medium beast, so it's probably 5 feet.
5 feet, cool.
Yeah.
So as you run up, there's it gets to about 25 degrees. It's almost closed. You
I also
slam your spear into it.
I have tremor sense up to 60 feet.
Okay, so at
do
this
I know
point,
where-
hang on, we'll see. As you do this, you slam your spear into it. It catches, stops. The chain catches, it stops. The rock is now taut and is not moving anymore. You kind of go over, you just brace it for a moment just to make sure. At this point, badger forming at you.
Yeah.
At this point, what are you doing? You're underground, and now at this point you
I
hear.
am just
Actually, give me a perception check. Give me a perception check.
Leave this one. Don't leave.
perception.
Yep.
11.
11?
I'm just desperately trying to claw my way out.
All right, so you kind of faintly hear movement right above you as you hear what sounds like footsteps. So what are you doing? You have dirt just all around you. Wait, you feel about almost, I'd say, 10 feet of just pure, well, about 7 feet of just pure dirt compacting down on top of you. Yeah, you're just like, all right, so you're burrowing down. You give me just a investigation.
Okay.
Just to see how long this takes. You'll be able to find them.
Yeah. 14 total?
14. So you dig down, and after about, I'd say 45 seconds, you finally hit his arm. And you start digging it out. You go around, and in a moment, you realize there he is, and then you breathe in. In total, you'll take 2 more points of damage with the rest of how long it took for him to get there, of just, the force of everything bearing down on you. But now, taken out, you now see this tunnel, and you kind of slowly climb back out as this badger leads your way back up out of the hole. Fuck this kind of, helps you and pulls you up out. And then in a moment, you guys pull your weapon back out, and the hole just closes back down
I
on.
was grumbling the entire time.
Now,
What the hell just happened?
I got curious. I saw a crack. I wanted to go through.
That's always the worst.
Those cracks.
These cracks all every time.
Was there
I'm sitting here, I'm just like, okay then.
was there actually a space behind that crack?
now, as you say that, as Gildor is just back here toking on his pipe, he looks and he sees while you guys are all, climbing out of this hole and helping life out, he noticed that there's like this passageway now that's about almost 6 feet tall and about 3 feet wide, and it looks as if it seems to be some sort of passage door.
I cast light in there.
You light it up, and as you
I
do
cast
so,
mushroom.
you look as if the light kind of travels for a moment and it looks like it ascends upward.
At a slope.
You see it as a slope at first. If you kind of walk up a little bit closer, you notice that it's a slope at first, and then it gradually goes and it bends off, and it looks as if stairs are formed out of like either clay or some sort of mud and stone.
We send one of the kids.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up. No.
There's just
I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna be checking for traps now. I almost got myself killed.
Yeah.
Wait a
No,
minute.
we're not gonna send the kid.
What if I send some skeletons?
That's fine as well.
I'm gonna summon 2 skeletons.
Okay, so you summon 2 skeletons. You just
Yeah.
they just crawl up out of the ground, and then what? You send them down.
I send one down first.
Okay, so you send one, and it looks at you, and, it's like, and it just goes and you see it bends off. Fine. Looks as if it just goes up and walks to the left, and it's in complete darkness, but you
hear the.
you hear movement.
Okay, let's go, but we'll have this skeleton.
All right, so you have the second one. It leads in front. As you do so, you go and you guys start walking. Go up about 10 feet. It bends, and then about another 5 feet at an angle, and then it straightens off. You guys keep going. All right, so you guys are in about a corridor that's about 6 to 7 feet tall and about 4 to 5 feet wide. And as you guys are going down through it, you guys travel for almost an hour at normal pace. Completely just dirt and mud. As you do so, you travel, and then you find that there's another small little landing area that you reach, where there looks as if there's a couple lanterns and a chair with another chair. And as you get closer, you start smelling what smells like burning like wood and fire. And as you guys go around a slight little bend, you start seeing a light illuminate at the very end of another bend. So you see like a landing with 2 chairs with 2 torches.
First skeleton?
Still going. I mean, he told him to keep walking. So at this point, you guys have seen this one landing area. 2 chairs with what looks like 2 torches. They've been burnt out. It's completely dark. But as you guys are now making it further, you see another what looks like area that is coming up. But you see light, but you don't see any figures. You know, it's like around the corners. But you just see it illuminating in the area.
So we see one more.
Yes. Now, as you guys are about, I'd say 2, maybe 400 feet away, give me a perception check, everybody. And what is the marching order?
I was the one that was already going.
Garbage skeleton, and then I'm somewhere in the middle of the pack.
I would have been in the front, and I was like,
Fine. Garbage skeleton.
curiosity.
You, me, you. Gregor's is still back with the
You're a
kids.
badger, right?
I'm correct. Currently, I'm a badger. Yes.
I'd be somewhere up front.
Yeah, Gredrich is.
Perception.
I have a advantage on spell checks.
That'll work.
Do
Yeah,
I smell
yeah.
anything fun?
16.
I got dirty 20.
30, 20, 16
Do I roll again?
I got-
for vision. I want to know your vision, and then we'll do that separate. Give me your vision.
Then that would be 9 plus 8, so 17.
Okay, so yeah, you guys all got above 15. Okay, so as you
And
see,
then when it comes to smell, that's a natural 20.
okay, so as you all see visually, you being up front can see the best. The rest of you kind of visualizing, kind of peeking over shoulders or, just shifting to the side. You notice that the room doesn't seem to appear to be very big. Everything seems to be getting a little bit, I'd say, more worn. You see footsteps as you're walking that are very well like matted down in the mud, like making it, very almost smooth, like very well worn in this area. As you guys are kind of like come to almost like a stop looking, seeing that there's light, you notice it's flickering, that it's active, and you see shadows in the area moving, figures, possibly humanoid. You're not quite sure how big. You hear slight talking, very low murmurs. Sounds like at least more than one individual. After about another minute goes by and you guys peer in, nothing else really happens. You don't hear anything crazy. You, though, on your natural 20 for the smell, I'd say you smell burning torches for sure. But you also smell alcohol, like very strong alcohol. Especially in the corridor that you're coming from. Now, it's almost like stronger as you're approaching. And then it's almost like mixed with like a very dirty, almost like sewerage smell in a way. Like almost like an unwashed body or something for a very long time.
What happened to my
Back.
skeleton?
Would this thing just walked into the room?
Yeah,
It just kept going.
it wouldn't attack unless it was attacked. This thing just like fucking.
Walked into the guy's room.
It's not smart. It's
Would you
like
have
it didn't-
sense? Would you have sense if it was attacked?
if it was dead?
Well, it's dead.
Dead?
Yeah,
Yeah, skeleton's dead.
yeah. You know it's dead
I'm
now.
a bad.
Actually, you know that it probably died about 5 to 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, it only has like I think like 3.
Well, not instantly. You know when it dies.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah.
I killed my skeleton. I shall murder it.
I want to make ominous whispers.
Wait,
To be fair, we just barged in.
How far away is
You're about 200 to 300 feet
Technically,
in
this
this
is our
smaller
basement.
corridor underground, and you
This is-
see deep, like a light barely illuminating like an opening.
I thought we were like closer to the.
How can you acid spell I want to try? Okay? Just let me do
Technically,
it.
they're inside of our tower.
This far away though?
I have a feeling this is just two interconnected basements. This isn't our basement still.
It is now.
Does that mean
like
by
a-
right of conquest?
It's like a really bad Holiday Inn.
By right of conquest.
They did a trap in our basement
Yeah.
into
So-
this thing. It is
Yeah.
now ours.
They have declared war
So-
with the trapdoor that almost killed Light.
It's out of our
I
basement.
feel like that was our trap door. I don't know. All right, okay. If we
No,
take
no,
this,
it
if
is.
we take their basement, does that mean we get that building above it?
Yes. We have to conquer each floor. Clear the whole building.
It's like adjoining hotel rooms, and as long as you can find the key to unlock the adjoining room, it's now mine.
Yeah.
We gotta kill the boss for
All right, so what are you guys doing? You guys are about 300 feet away. You're in your order. You guys can be side by side. The hallway's big enough. None of you are that big, but
Does
you
he have
know.
a torch?
No, you guys just have. Are you casting light? Yeah. So
I have
Can
one.
you cast like some light on something?
Yeah, I can cast it
I
on
think
anything.
Can you cast it on my skeleton's head? It's standing right here, not moving. Is that possible?
Just the skull, or yeah.
Any part of him. To be honest.
Would it count as an object? Because it's an object.
Skull on an animated skeleton.
Sure.
Object.
Can I cast it on the
Yep, sure. So you
Glowing
just
skull head.
see the skeleton glowing right in front of you.
I'm gonna tell him to sprint into the room and make as much noise as possible.
So it's just and after a moment, you just see it, and it's and you just see like Lord of the Rings orc style into the wall, just running. And as this kind of slowly diminishes, you see it, and then after a moment, as it gets closer, you see 3 individuals kind of look around the corner, and then one female shrieks. And then another individual is like, "I got another one!" And he goes to grab it, and you see it immediately starts fighting him. And the 3 of them jump on top of this thing, and they kind of go off out of vision out of the side. That's what you see. What do
Well, it
you?
shouldn't attack the skeleton. It would just ran in there and made a bunch of noise.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop being a
They
badger.
don't know that.
I'm gonna stop being a
Well, they
badger.
will when I
I'm
tell
pretty-
them we were chasing random skeletons we found in our basement.
Yeah. We were chasing them. Nice cover. They're drunk, or at least I think they're drunk. There's a very heavy alcohol. I think we just walk into the basement of a
How
bar.
much are we wanting to fuck with these people?
Huh?
How much are we wanting to fuck?
Should I just walk in as a skeleton? Like, take my mask off?
Because if we really want to fuck with them, I can form of dread it up. And
No,
Charge
why are
in
we
there.
being assholes to these people?
Because it's our fucking basement!
They tried to murder me.
Did they? I don't think they laid the trap.
Hey,
I also laid a trap. Have you seen where we bought? Nobody's lived there.
I don't know.
it was not the previous owner.
That was a fresh trap.
I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna walk in and have a conversation.
I'm ready.
You can command your skeletons, right?
I mean,
if they're within 60 feet, once they get out of that zone, it's the last command I gave them until time now tomorrow.
Yeah.
So once you get within 60 feet again, you can't tell him to do something.
I can,
so-
but he's most likely already dead.
How far away? So we know that the room opens up, right? How far are we from like that threshold?
250 feet.
All right, I'm gonna walk like 50 feet away from like threshold.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like,
So as you get about 100 feet away, you start hearing like what sounds like bones clattering on the ground with individuals like, get him, take him down, just hold him, I got him, oh my god, what is, and you just hear what sounds like wrestling in this room.
all right, I'm gonna get up to like, I'm gonna get 25 feet closer
Okay.
and be like, and if I can hear them, I'm gonna call out, fucking skeleton, where you goddamn skeleton, get back here!
As you do that, you see a frail, kind of small man kind of poke up around the door. There's another one!
Nah!
And they look, oh!
Friend,
oh,
friend,
oh. He
friend,
turns. It's a mechanical one!
not a skeleton.
Jesus!
Chill out, dog.
Ah, and then he goes back to the other side and he just jumps out of vision and you see him just dart out of view.
Okay. Well, I'll be here if you're gonna take care of that skeleton for me.
I am
Now the
following
skeleton's dead.
Okay.
What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm gonna
Walking.
I'm up with him.
Alright, so you guys are all...
I am going to follow Reddit up.
Don't they have to be within vision? Don't they have to see you?
Who said I'm going to be using that to frighten?
What's going on here?
I'm going to take my forward dread
Okay.
and sprint them going.
Okay, give me
What's
a...
the floor made of?
Dirt. Give me a...
I use mold
Give me
dirt,
a...
Because that's a terrible idea. And I said two skeletons in there.
Yeah.
Give me an intimidation check.
Wait, first let me do my D10 of hell. Fuck.
As he kills himself.
You also need to make an athletic check to not fall in the pitfall trap. I just said as you started running.
That really fucking hurt. Shouldn't have done that.
I don't really get options to bury stupid
There's another one.
without killing here.
Hey, I gotta do damage to these people if they attack me. Right. What was I doing again?
Intimidation.
Intimidation.
It'd be a disadvantage because he like fucking ate shit in the hole I put under him. Like,
When I die.
hit.
Am I running a disadvantage or not?
No. Oh god.
22.
Alright, so after a moment you just come running in and you notice that almost like 3 of them have the skeleton on their back and it seems as if they've just killed it, taken it down. They seem to be standing up and dusting themselves off and then they turn around and they just see this horror coming at them, screaming. And you just see 3 of them. Oh my god! And he just turns and he takes his spear and he goes to lunge at you. What are you gonna do?
I have permission to seriously hurt people.
No! No! We don't have to kill everyone. You a murder hobo?
I didn't say kill.
Oh, okay. He said maim.
Yes.
It's a name.
Serious.
There is a.
There's a distinction.
I'm only gonna take one of his legs.
Yeah. Christ.
And I am going to.
Maybe more.
That's a power damage, so I don't want to have damage.
Lord.
I'm going to cast Arms of Adar. And that is potential dark injury or rough around me within 10 feet. Each creature in that area must make a strength saving throw. Or they are.
Alright, so what is it?
Arms of Adar.
Arms of Adar?
Strength saving
Adar.
throw.
Strength saving throw. Life's gone rogue.
Yep. He's gone full murder.
Failure on
I'm
one.
gonna cast water.
Failure on the other one.
Water.
Oh,
Failure.
Water sphere.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so.
Rolled a 4, 4,
They
and a
cannot take
7.
reactions until their next turn.
I'm.
And then I'm gonna drop the forward grab. Like,
So-
yo, what are you guys doing here? Oh yeah, I'll send you a roll with damage. So, how many failed?
All 3 of them. And now as you're terrifying these, you see 2 older individuals, a male and a female,
Just
well
died.
into their years, seemingly almost would just be terrified after dealing with 2 skeletons. And you do notice the old man just start clutching his chest immediately. The female, and then you see a younger male, probably in his 30s or 40s, standing there with this spear. How much damage?
7 necrotic to anyone that failed.
So all of them? Okay.
Everyone.
You see the man not only grabbing his chest, he immediately just falls unconscious. The female and the male just take this brunt of this and are immediately intimidated and just fall back on their asses and drop their weapons. Please! Please!
After I did this spell, I was gonna drop it like, yo, what the fuck are you doing in our basement?
What? This is my basement, I work here!
This is our basement. Now.
No one told me!
I'm pretty sure this guy's had a heart attack.
You see this
Yeah,
younger
he's
individual who is holding the
in the process
spear.
of dying.
He turns and he looks.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on the guy that I just gave a heart attack to.
He's like, these are my parents! Yeah, I've dug this tunnel, what? How much does it heal for?
Is he unconscious?
You say
Yes.
mortgage?
Oh, well then.
Did you not finish mortgage work?
12, yeah.
12?
Mortgage
Alright,
work.
so stable 12. Alright. So, as you
I have killed no one.
almost kill this man and then bring him back, the rest of you walk into the room and you see this man just be like. He grips onto his chest and he kind of sits up a little bit, and you see the rest of the other 2, this older female and this male, in tears. Just, I mean, we'll do anything you want, just don't kill us. You see skeleton bones just scattered amongst the rest of the room, and this is a pretty small room. It's about 15 feet wide by like maybe 20 feet in length. And now you see 3 chairs and 2 torches and a dimly lit room and a small little stairwell that leads up, and that's about all you can see. The man kind of clutching his chest, and this younger individual kind of stands forward. What do you want? What do you want?
Why?
I work here, I already told you!
Why is there a tunnel into our basement?
That basement, that's where I live!
What the fuck it ain't? That's where we live now.
Like I said, you said that! I didn't know that!
Why was it trapped?
Because I made this
basement?
tunnel!
An hour and a half that way? You lived there.
Yes.
Not anymore.
You told me you squatting?
No! I've worked there for years, I'm a handmaid!
Wait, are you
wait
the
a
guy
minute,
that's
are
in
you
the
the farm
guy?
I've worked on the farms there for about 15 years, yes!
Oh!
We're your new employers.
Yeah, we just acquired the land. We just acquired the estate.
Oh, we're so sorry.
How will you introduce yourselves?
Aces and voices in the basement. We immediately went.
You almost killed my father!
We're so
He's not
sorry.
dead. He cured it.
Yeah,
After you killed him!
Almost.
yeah, yes.
Shh!
I didn't.
We gotta be quiet!
Why?
Doug, my parents are supposed to be in prison.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Where are they? What?
They're here! This is them!
Okay.
Is there not an exit to this room?
There
other than
is,
one-
there is,
Okay.
but it's up a stairwell, and then you see but he turns, made this area. And now as you look around, you see like some like pictures of what look to be like wine and ale set off to the side and some bread. We come once a week and we meet here and I break them out for a couple hours and we catch up. They send them back. Tunnels.
Is this where they stay?
No, I take them back to prison.
You can just get them out of prison?
That's what the tunnel's for.
I was assuming
So
you
this
were
tunnel
like,
also connects to the prison?
like smugglers
Up that
or something like that.
doorway.
That's the prison.
Go a little bit farther, about maybe 20 minutes, and yeah, there's a
Padre?
Yes, Padre. Yes.
Really?
There's a false flooring in the yard.
Great information. For the record, your trap almost killed this guy. It's very effective.
Well, good.
Sorry for.
You almost killed me. You almost killed my father.
You're some guy fucking
The payback is good.
So, our bad.
You just see his mother just off in the corner holding her father, and he's like, "It's okay. It's okay."
We are so goddamn sorry.
Quick question before we're cool with this, breaking out your parents out of prison.
What are you guys eating over there? Jesus.
These
I
ones
legit thought there
are
were like actual criminals down here.
so
Yeah.
good. The peach ones.
What?
I was
What
not
is it?
being-
They're different old,
They're different flavors.
they're so
What is it? Bone? Oh, you got your mask on.
Yeah. So
Why are your parents in prison?
See the man now kind of. It's okay, Lawden. I'll tell him.
Look, man, we're not from around here, so we honestly could care less.
Unless it's something super fucked up.
No, but my wife and I are lapidaries. We were trainees, and over the last about 50 years, they've outlawed new lapidaries to be trained in the region of Hexwell. Well, we still decided to work in the trade, and yeah. You see Lawden.
Technically,
No,
what you're
he's so-
saying is you're wrongfully in prison?
I mean,
Or you didn't do anything besides be lapidaries in training?
well, I worked on some gems for a certain individual that supposedly was up to no good, but it was a big conspiracy, I told him at the time, and they were doing nothing of the individual, and they were just trying to keep everyone hush-hush.
And who was this individual?
A Miss Cassie Volt?
Oh, she's dead as shit.
Oh, well,
hurt.
that's good. She never paid us, though, so,
we're a small world.
yes, we worked for her for about 2 years on quite a big project, actually.
Was the thing you worked on something maybe blue?
It was multiple colors, actually. It changed. It was able to be manipulated, we found out. We were able to segment part of one fractured piece into many thousands.
Oh, great. That's just, part of me just being, passed out. That's cool. I'm saying that out loud.
He's just kind of looking at you like,
Yeah,
what interest do you have?
well, you know that thing you segmented?
Yes?
That was me. Part of it? I don't know. Skeleton out, though.
Skeleton. And he kind of leans forward and you show him.
I'm not wearing gloves.
Okay, so
I
you
haven't bought them yet.
and he. So you hold part of that magic, or created it.
On
Interesting.
accident.
He kind of
And
stands
I don't
up.
remember the super specifics of it. Probably because it became a gem and I became a skeleton. Excuse me.
You see now he sits up, and then Lon, the younger one. You almost killed my family, though. So
Whoa.
he did.
He did.
I thought you were an actual criminal.
I want an apology. Thank you. So, I'll work for you now. Only if you never fucking do that again.
What about on Halloween?
To you. I will not do
No.
anything.
And you also can't tell anyone that I do this with my parents.
Totally.
As long as you tell us where the manhole to get out of the prison is.
I can show you.
Okay.
But we have to be very
So that way, in
quiet.
case we get.
Listen. We have to be very quiet. Recently, there was an outbreak in prison. Gods have been almost tripled since then. Getting them out, we used to be able to do this almost every night. Now, it's harder.
Wait a minute, what's that?
They all just kind of look at each other. We're afraid. They'll come looking for us and we have nowhere to go.
My professor. That was still in
Are you
prison.
hiding under
Look
it?
at that guy.
We are, but
Just do up that hole that you leave it into there. And they can't pull that down here.
then we have to live our entire life in hiding forever. At least out there we can see the outside and
Well,
somewhat
how
live.
about this? I just learned that our friend Orm here turned into a honey badger thing
I can't do that.
that can dig a lot.
Yeah, I've always
So why don't we just build an entire tunnel system to get out all the people that were wrongfully imprisoned in this prison?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Where are we going to keep them all?
Yeah, that sounds
Equals profit.
Yeah, we're gonna keep them.
that sounds like a terrible idea. Currently, from my understanding, we are not wanted by the state government. I would love to keep it.
This is why you buy masks.
That's what you guys do.
Where do you work?
He works for us.
Yeah,
No, like, what is this?
yeah.
Yeah,
he
he's
is-
our farmhand.
He works in our basement.
So we're underneath.
No,
This
we're-
is-
Padre.
Currently underneath the prison.
You're about, well, you don't know. But from what he told you, you're about 20 to 30 minutes a little bit farther from Padre.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Looking like actual, like bad people down there, but
Yeah, this is totally fine with us. Your whole shtick here, not a problem.
He kind of looks, Lauderdale River.
Orem,
Nice to meet you.
I'm Gilmore.
Laudendale River?
That's my father, Merle.
Okay. Merle River?
Yeah.
Oh, backup question. You have any idea what happened to those fragments of my soul?
No,
Or
there was
body.
many of us working on this project. We were told very vague details, but I know that there was some machines or something that they were being put into. Many of us got sick. Some of them died working on it. We weren't quite sure what. We were told that there was some sort of magical occurrence, but we don't really know what happened. We heard that souls ended up being just torn and ripped into it. But we're not quite sure.
For the record, anything you should get caught. Whatever you're doing with your parents here. We're not directly involved. We know nothing.
But if I get
So
caught, I'm
what's
bringing
on-
them back probably through this tunnel and hopefully running away with our lives.
Hopefully, they don't discover the tunnel.
We will have nothing to do with that.
You have a plausible deniability then. If we don't know that our employee has a tunnel into the prison system under our house, like that's completely.
What?
So what we're saying is don't get caught.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten caught? How long you been doing this?
About 3
Wait,
years.
have you started
haven't got
selling
caught.
contraband into the prison? This is a really good business venture. Now that we're discussing the whole fact that he has an in into the prison.
He has a system that works. He hasn't been caught for 3 years. Let's not fuck it up.
Dude, all I'm saying is we get him like a carton of cigarette, we can make like triple
You
the
now
amount of
see
gold.
the
How
female,
long?
she speaks up. Actually, we have been trying to keep the estate afloat and keep Laden fed, as no one's been living there for quite some time other than him.
You owners.
Well,
Well,
Oh, we also have a bunch of orphans.
We'll get to that. How long is your census?
we have 7 more years.
What?
It was 10 years by the Red Council. And we're never to work on.
Wait a minute. I can fake your death. I can fake their deaths. I can finally use that spell. We don't have to break them out of prison. It's not breaking them out of prison. We don't have to because they died.
Yeah, they
So they're technically served their sentence
serve a life
because
sentence.
they died. Get me?
Yeah, I feel like we really shouldn't. They have a system. It's been working. I feel like we shouldn't fuck
You
this
keep
up.
speaking of this system. We don't really. We just go at a certain time every week, and it seems the gods are never there, so it
It
keeps
sounds like a
working out.
system. That's the system.
Oh, if that's a system,
That's a
then
system.
yeah, we have one.
Yeah, but what if they don't need a system because
They're dead.
they're dead to the system?
That's a hell of a gamble.
Is it though?
But then how do we get their bodies here?
Exactly.
Well, don't they have a morgue that their next of kin claims
Infirmary.
their possession?
They're prisoners. They burn them in the infirmary.
Yeah, we gotta.
That's hell fucked up.
I mean, they value the land here.
They are claims.
If you're a prisoner and you die in prison, usually you're put in the infirmary. There are very few burial grounds here in Hexwell due to the magical innate of the land with the abominations rising. Most of us fear to put dead ones in the ground in fear that we may possibly have to deal with them at some other point in life. Have you ever seen one of the abominations?
Baby, I don't know.
Was that plant monster we fought an abomination?
Could have been.
Kind of, but not one that he's not a common one. Ones that come up over the edges is most what refer to.
Okay.
And no, you guys haven't seen one. So no, but that's what he's referring to. So, you guys are what you guys do?
So like I said, I feel like we should not fuck it up for these. Say nice to meet ya. We just go about it.
Should we? Somebody.
We should
not
ask
be-
Farmhand Man to watch the orphans.
I mean, yeah, that's
Yes.
also a thing.
Wait,
Should we go?
you know Aldor? If you know Cassie, you hear the old man.
Outdoor. Do I know that name?
Heard it once. Only once.
Or
All of you. All of you.
Could you explain who Aldor is?
Aldor
It sounds-
Trixus.
It sounds like
Trixus?
was it in one of those books that we found inside?
It sounds familiar.
maybe, but
inside like ledgers.
yes, it was in a ledger. It was in a ledger.
Is it in one of the ledgers found in Cassandra Volt's
Yeah.
basement
Yeah.
of people she was meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You
Real
guys.
quick, out of character. What's this guy's name?
Plot.
Lawton.
Farmhand number
Yeah,
one.
Lawton
So I have
River.
written Theo.
Huh?
What do I have written Theo?
I don't know.
In front
I
of
didn't.
Wizard Tower.
I don't know.
Orlando. Names change.
Theo, Geo, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Theo, Lawden, they're pretty similar.
Okay. There we go.
Scene, Grendrich, same thing.
Yeah.
Same person, yeah. Halfling, human, you know.
Yeah.
One's a gnome, the other one's, or halfling, one's a
So,
human.
Farmhand Man.
Lawden.
Yes,
Lawden. He
Lawden.
has a name.
I just ignore things that aren't.
Okay.
If I give you money, could you fix that estate? You know people in town. You know that you can hire help. There's also a bunch of orphans that also need care.
Yeah, I could.
Cool. I mean, we have money to give, yeah.
How much money do they cost? Lived here.
It's the whole thing?
Yeah.
Just to live in?
Just to live in for now.
Bare minimum living.
1,000 gold.
We probably do that.
But I need at least probably 4 people to help me. Probably take me 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
Maybe
There
2
are-
weeks. Maybe 2 weeks.
There's 6 teenagers.
Maybe 2.5 weeks.
I can also make skeletons.
Listen, you give me those teenagers. You hire a couple good men to help me. I might be able to get it done in a week.
Well, the teenagers are living there.
Well, they can work.
Absolutely.
The time isn't really a big problem for us, so
You know, it is to me. I like sitting on my ass. I don't want to be dragging this out for 3 weeks.
I mean, it's fair. Is it going to cost more to do it in a week?
Probably will cost more to do it in 3 weeks.
Really?
We'll have to pay whoever we hire.
You know? All right.
I mean, we can do it in 3 weeks. If you want to pay me to do it in 3 weeks,
No.
I'll have it done in a week and do nothing for 2, but we can do it in 3 weeks.
I mean, 1 week it is then. Are you coming back tonight, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna. I mean, or do you
We
want to
can head on
see?
a
You
map.
guys don't want to see. You guys said you wanted to see, but you don't want to see.
I mean,
We'll
What do you-
probably hold off on that until your we'll probably meet with you the next time you go get your parents.
Okay.
That way, listens.
You see the old man. He just goes and starts drinking some of the wine. I think we're actually gonna just be going now. This is actually a little off-putting, and I just want to maybe rest for the rest of the night.
You almost just a heart attack.
probably, yeah.
You probably shouldn't be drinking alcohol.
Can I medicine check this?
Sure.
guy who just had a heart attack.
I
can.
cured his wounds. He's fine.
18.
He's fine. He's just extremely
He's shaking.
stressed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, shaking. Like, you see him, he's just like drinking his drink, you know.
Actual bad
You just hear him like,
Yeah.
just kind of sitting there, just shaking his like drink while he's nervously wondering what you guys are all doing
Want
here.
some strong shit?
No, I just want to leave. Actually,
Up there.
Free to ruin your evening.
Well, we can head back.
I just had part of my wine splash back in my
It's
face.
getting very late. We can talk business in the morning. That's
I mean, I almost fucking drank.
I mean, we won't. We'll be in prison, but you can talk with Aladdin. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Are we heading back? So I guess
you want to come with? Sure.
I gotta take my parents back,
Take 20, 30 minutes.
and then I'll be back.
Okay. You want us to wait for you?
That's up to you.
Do you want to wait for this guy?
I think he'd be a no.
We should probably meet him with the kids instead of just him popping up. That'd kind of be like,
I mean, if we get there 20, 40 minutes before he gets up, we can hold him. 40 minutes. It's all
there's
so
no bed.
true. It's also probably 10. It'll be 10 o'clock by the time we get home.
I also didn't tell him what to do while we went.
Yeah, exactly.
So they could be gone.
Yeah.
They could be no worries up there.
Your carriage is gone. Carriage and everything's taken.
Andrews has murdered.
Gridrich
Devin
is left with
Shore.
the kids.
He's like,
At that point, it's less problem for us.
We did our good deed of saving the orphans from you.
All
It's
right.
already happened.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
I'm walking back.
You're walking back, so you just see life just
Yeah, I'm
tuck
gonna,
tail.
like,
He can go about his business like he normally does. I mean,
We'll meet you back at the house, but
Okay. So you hear them, they talk for just a few more moments. You guys tuck tail, turn, and you guys as a group head back. Okay. So, all the way back. Alright, so you guys travel for about another hour. So, you guys make it back to your place about 11. You guys make it back to the 3rd floor. You guys make it climbing back up.
Mhm.
And you make it back to the 1st floor. And there are no kids inside.
Yep.
As you guys walk inside, you just hear commotion outside. You guys walk outside and you see 6 kids and Micah crying on the outside on top of a tipped over carriage with Grendridge just running around yelling, Get the fuck off that! That is mother. His armor is like half stripped off, and you notice that half of his shirt, and he just has rips and people, and you notice one of them has his sword, and he's holding it. He's like, I'm the real fighter! And he's wobbling around, running around with his sword, and you just see him, and he stops. He's like, oh!
yeah, Orm just busts out.
Got it under control. Like I said, I'm a great babysitter. I can run this household easily. But the carriage, I'm gonna need help with that one. And you notice it is just completely tipped over.
How fucking does this even happen?
What did they do?
Well, I was sleeping in it.
Yeah?
bored children.
After a few moments, they kept leveraging up it with a few, and then you notice you see on the side boxes. Kept pushing it up, leveraging a box under the wheel. And they leverage up the other one and leverage another box under the wheel. And then they got under it and they started just tipping it over slowly. By the time I woke up,
mad about this happening or impressed that they pulled this off?
I'm actually impressed.
I was knocked out of it. I climbed and they all ran. That was about 5 minutes ago. I've been chasing them ever since. Lucky I didn't fucking impale myself on my own sword.
Well, I don't know how you do that. You usually keep a sword in like a sheath.
It is, but he's got it now, and if I would have it fell off of my waist. Got daggers? There's other things, and anyway, you wouldn't understand. You don't have meat.
You don't have meat.
He just turns around and walks back indoors.
Alright, well, we're gonna come back.
Let's
Power
pick this
the
carriage
door.
up.
All right, so
Well, I
you
tell
guys,
Joey, my thunder beast, that's still outside, to flip the fucking carriage right side up.
Oh, yeah.
it just
Because he's a giant fucking lizard monster.
yeah, but it doesn't have hands.
It's a fucking knocked over carriage.
Shoulders.
Sure, so it starts. Give me an athletics check for the guy.
18.
All right, so he just lumbers it over, and as he does so, he kind of smashes through one of the sides a little bit, but definitely gets it propped up. Now you see Tor.
Mending.
Mending.
Yeah.
Mending.
There he's Tor's. Looks great.
Looks great.
All right.
Great.
The kids are still running around, and after you tip it back up, they kind of... Okay, as Grangers goes back inside, it's not as fun to antagonize him anymore. One of them drops his sword, and then you see Grangers hurry up and open the door and runs back out and grabs it and goes back. He's like, ah, fucker! And he takes it back inside. All right, so now...
All right.
Are we really trusting him with these kids?
Children.
Well, that's what the farm hand's for.
Children. Can everyone line up, please?
They slowly line up, but it's like an off-fucked line. Like, it's not a line.
That's fine.
It's way not fuck.
To leverage this wagon.
Dennisine comes back out. Give me that fucking
Grandridge?
thing. Or Grandridge. Might as well be Dennisine at this point.
It's his
Switching.
it's his middle name.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence.
To pull this off took coordination. Who was responsible?
You see everybody just turn around, and Riven, one of the twins in the back, she just kind of puts her head down. She's like, "It wasn't me, it was Oxford." Oxford, it wasn't me! You told me to push it over!
Insight check. 18.
Yeah, Riven's lying. He totally... Oxford's telling the truth. You can totally see that everybody's just looking at her, and even her own twin is like, yeah, it was fucking you. Like, you're taking the blame. She's like...
So, I understand that typically when one gets up to mischief and no good, that they're punished.
But I've never done anything bad in my life! I've always been so good! Please!
Hold, child, hold. This showed initiative. This showed intelligence. You
You see the rest of them start looking around at each other like...
successfully coordinated a group of children to accomplish a task that none of you could have done by yourself.
And they listened.
Listen,
It was also
this
funny.
is what I want to see. Not mischief. The coordination. I want this to be a place where we work together. Instead of tipping over wagons, build a home.
Yeah, I can probably do that.
Don't tip over wagons.
Yeah, her twin's like, yeah. And then Oxford's like, fucking shut up.
It was
Or if you're going to tip a wagon, ask. Some people deserve to get their wagons tipped.
if we need a wagon tip, we know who to call.
Then it seems like, yeah, fucking people need some fucking wagons tipped, let me tell ya. Brandridge, you know, if you guys ever met a guy named Dennisine?
Yes, gonna see the lore.
Man,
The guy,
He's the guy.
a good guy,
He's the
isn't
guy
he?
who whacked the fucking skeletons.
Man,
dead monk guy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. that guy.
Yeah.
Man,
His
I'm just gonna keep saying his name, you know, in vain forever. May his name live on.
Yeah.
What do you? What? So Gildor, you wanna go get a drink and finish toking that pipe? Cause fuck these kids. Oh wait, you wanted them, so just kidding. You can deal with them.
Yeah.
Mulder.
Alright, so what are you guys doing? You guys resting? It's about 11, 12 at this point. It's complete chaos and pitch black. I mean, you guys agree? You guys should probably set up some lights and...
Yeah. We'll head down. Fucking. All right, children. It's getting quite late, but see if you can find anything in the next, let's say, 10 minutes. We've explored the lower levels. Explore the higher levels.
You just see Lavelle just take off into the distance,
Wait.
off of the field. And he's just like, Oxford's like, what the fuck are you doing running that way? He said in the house. And he's like, oh.
Okay, I want you to split into two groups.
Oh, he's sprinting.
I want you to split into two groups. I'm gonna summon my skeletons. Pick leaders for. That isn't me. Okay.
You said 2 groups?
Out of these,
For one of them.
it's 6 teenagers plus Micah, or is it 7 plus Micah?
6 plus Micah.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you the name so you don't have to think too
I
hard.
could have sworn I have.
You have Sydney, Oxford, Lavelle, Tylen, Riven, and Reeser. Riven and Reeser are the twins that are good, but Riven just...
Okay, we're just gonna make Riven and Reeser the leaders of 2 different groups.
No. First of all, do any of you want responsibility?
Oxford's like, I do.
I
Okay,
picked up
Riven
on
and
that.
Oxford.
I picked up on that, Oxford. I think these kids are gonna look up to you. I asked you earlier.
You didn't see Tylen. He's like, he's a fucking retard. I'm not looking up to that guy. Oxford's like,
Don't be mean.
he just stares off in the distance. You can tell he might be not the brightest guy, but he's gonna work hard.
All right. Well, there's one team leader.
Oxford's like, yes.
Here, Riven's the other one.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna summon skeletons and I can give them simple commands.
Okay.
And the simple command is guard
Okay.
on these kids.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna tell them to explore.
The house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And what are the rest of you guys doing while they're exploring the house? Sleeping?
No. Absolutely no. Fucking is the first level the room that is in the best condition? They have a stone floor.
Stone floor, stone walls, and
Okay.
there's actually like adjacent rooms on the right and left side, and one at the back, but they're just form of shit, kind of. Like they have like 3 to 4 walls.
Then I will start getting like a fire together.
Okay.
On this stone floor.
Got you.
I might singe the floor a little bit, but
That's alright. So
Scrubbing will
see,
come out.
yeah, you guys. So you get some makeshift wood and shit that's just debris,
Yeah.
and make it and start making a
Yeah.
fire.
Mhm.
I can
You,
just breathe on it.
yep. So you just kind of light it.
I've produced flame.
All right. So they start going with some of your. You break part of it off. You break his legs off.
Oh man!
Don't throw the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, I'll fix it. Just put the glue back on. I'll fix it. Jesus.
There you go. Now. This fucking legs
Here,
came off.
just give it to me. Just give it to me. Give it all to me. Find the base.
I went to super.
Get the base and find it for me.
Abusive pet owner.
Anyway, so you're sending.
Yeah, it should be in front of you.
He tossed it and it bounced back towards him,
Oh.
No, it didn't.
We have no idea where that is.
The base went to you.
and then it bounced.
The body part was over here.
Anyway, so you sending your skeletons to go through and look with them and guard them.
Yeah.
So the rest of you, while they're looking,
I'll invest whatever time they take into making this room, get it warmed up. And if there's any holes that I can quickly patch, I'll do that. Yeah.
okay. So after I'd say about an hour, you guys start going through. The kids start going through investigating. You guys start working and whatnot. It gets pretty late into the night. As you guys are doing this, I need everybody to give me a perception check. As you guys are kind of going about rummaging through a bunch of everything. I'm gonna see if I can find this vase real quick.
Wait.
Where'd you throw this thing?
Here. Each strawberry.
Wait, look at
Eh, wait.
At you.
Check.
What on the other side?
Check against the boards. Right here, Connor. Check like.
It's under
Oh,
you.
there it is. There
Oh.
it is, there it is. All right, so what everybody roll?
12. 22.
Total of 5.
20.
20. So, Orem, what'd you get? Fuck this?
Well.
Okay. Gildor, you rolled pretty high, yeah?
Yeah, 22.
Okay, so as you guys are going around, kind of cleaning up, going through parts of the rooms and the houses and everything, you guys hear certain, I'd say, man, you fucked this thing. Tough parts of his life. Where did you?
I went to glue.
You
One
know-
of his ankles came out, and I went to glue it, and I went to push him in, and the other ankle
Yeah,
went.
it did. You guys.
When I pushed the legs
All
back
right, it doesn't matter. It's fine. You guys look around, and as you guys are cleaning, you guys faintly off in the distance hear what sounds like something like moving, like very faintly, like almost rumbling, but you hear it's like a, and you just hear that. It's just very faint off in the distance. As this is happening,
Like away from the house, you mean?
yeah, like far off, you know, you guys are on the outside of Inventus, so this is kind of like in between the forest areas, almost in like the snowy plain area, essentially. Because remember, this is like storm site, so it's very flat in a way. As you see this, you hear foot patters of the kids upstairs, and they're just like, "Ooh, it's them!" And they go running across. And as some of you guys go and just kind of peer around, seeing, you notice that there's about 6 what look like smaller, like almost motorcycle or some sort of like mechanic mobile that is moving, and you see like these white engines with some sort of like crystal like powering it, moving like this white stream of energy back and forth like in this wind turbine movement. And you see these riders on them with like these huge covered in gear, and they're just riding right next as you see this like windy kind of storm off in the distance. They're riding towards the storm. As you see them, you see the kids are like, ooh, as you see them just take off very quickly. As they do so, you see about 6 to 8 of them, different shapes and sizes, but you see them kind of tear off, and then you guys kind of go back to doing some of your work. After about another hour, give me another perception check. This time, you guys can do this at advantage.
25.
25.
Would we have gotten a short rest during this whole time?
Yeah, at this point, yeah, that's fine.
My spells are bad.
A short rest.
Arcane.
Oh, okay.
3 levels worth of.
All right, so what do you get? 25? Everybody else?
19.
18, 19, 15. All right, so as you guys are here for a little bit longer, you notice that the storm slightly kind of crackles and starts illuminating a little bit of light. And as you see off in the distance, one of the roads that kind of leads not into your house, because your house doesn't really have like a road, or your estate doesn't really have like a main road that leads to it. But off on the main section, you see a small caravan with about 4 riders that kind of start making their way towards your establishment. At this point, you see Lawden made his way back. Comes up and he kind of introduces himself to some of the kids. And at this point, the kids haven't really found anything. They've came back and just kind of said, you know, most of it's been torn to tatters. There's, you know, a couple chairs, a couple tables, but most of the things that were there have been just completely torn up and thundered and just ripped apart throughout whatever it was. And now that Lawden's here, he kind of waits for a moment, and joining you guys, he looks off and seeing this caravan, you immediately see him kind of frightened. He looks, he's like, oh gosh. They're gonna want something. They come here asking for money and for people.
What were they?
I just know them as the collectors. Coming to town about once a month, sometimes more often than that. And they usually go towards the orphanage, but they usually head up some of the houses on the outskirts of town as well. They collect the children. And take them and sell them to the crows and part of the Rocks families. At least that's what we believe. We normally just give them the money and let them go on their way and let March deal with them, but they're gonna see that you have kids. They have hit this establishment many times. They will know that these are not mine.
If they went missing, what would happen?
I don't know. I don't know quite who they work for. I just pay them 50 gold every time they come here. My parents work monthly wages for it. It's all we can afford, but that's...
Who wants to kill some stupid traffickers?
They're outside. It's at the house right now.
Is outside?
Or they're
We'll see how. Yeah.
This caravan
I'm down.
is outside the house, or they're just like down the street.
They're heading towards it.
It's heading towards you.
How far are they?
Let's
Away
get
are they?
the kids.
I'd say about half a mile.
Into the tunnel.
I don't know. I don't know if I like that tunnel. Maybe just like 2 layers down before the drain.
You're like assuming that we're gonna let them in our house,
I wasn't planning
or let them live.
You're gonna process. Yeah, I will. He gives us full rundown about the collectors. I will collect the children, and tell them to stay in the first lower level,
Okay.
that first basement. If I started like a fire down there,
Yeah, you've had it. It's been burned for about an
no,
hour.
I meant like one of the basement.
No,
the one,
no. You started on the...
Yeah, could I start?
Yeah, if
well,
you
I
wanted
don't
to.
know. Yeah.
I mean,
Wait,
you
how long
might
does
run
light
into
can-
asphyxiation
light the
and...
can-
That's what I'm trying to worry about.
Light?
Never
I think it's
mind.
an hour.
Yeah, it's not even concentration. So.
Yeah, give them some light on it,
Yeah.
because fire
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
That's an hour, so I'll just cast light down there.
Okay, so you get the kids down there, you cast light. After about, I'd say, 5-10 minutes, you start seeing them. They're approaching. They're starting to come towards your estate. They make their way a little bit up the beaten path. Not really a road, just more along a trodden pathway. They make it about, I'd say, 200 feet where you see them pull up, and you see 4 gentlemen get out. You see one is very well dressed, and the other 3 seem to be wearing... I'd say more or less armor, wearing sword with crossbow, and you see them start making their way up. You see a man start making his way towards the front of the state. You guys do.
Who wants to have a conversation?
I don't, because I'm gonna like try to murder them if they speak to me. So somebody should take the. Selling orphans is like pretty
We
high.
can talk to
No, I'm asking who wants to take the conversation. We're gonna have a conversation. Who's leading the conversation?
I'm gonna guard the door. They try to force their way in.
Wouldn't it retake command of the skeletons that are coming?
Okay. How many did you summon?
Like 2
Two.
and the big one.
Big conversation. Well, really?
Alright, so he's making his way up. He makes it about 10 feet from the doorway, and then you see him stop. Lawden, we come for our payment. Please meet me out front and drop the gold. He waits a moment.
I'm gonna open the door.
So you open the door and he sees this gold dragonborn come walking out. He's gonna take one step back. You're not Lawden.
What is this payment you need?
Well, that's a tax for the estate for not being able to provide for my masters.
Who are you?
I am not quite sure who you are.
I asked you first.
So? I'm asking not of your name, I just want payment.
own the fucking tower.
This day, we just acquired this estate. We're helping the land. We actually killed some elementals.
Oh, well then
Part of the storm.
let me tell you. I come here collecting tax. If you cannot provide any blood or, let's say, bodies for my masters. If you cannot, I don't get paid. If I cannot.
Bodies?
Yes,
What do you mean?
I said.
Anybody? Dead? Alive?
Children, we like mostly.
Like children?
They pay the best, so yes, I guess I like children.
So you sell children?
Yeah.
Stuff.
I also buy them.
So who do you work for anyway?
That's none of your concern. Just know that the people who I do work for are very powerful.
So I'm just supposed to hand you money
Yes.
for children and not.
Or yourself, if
not
you
know
want
why.
to. You can offer yourself to me and we can take you. That's fine.
Well, I don't know if I feel comfortable just giving money.
Most don't. And then he looks, that is why I have them.
Where then?
Are you there now?
Like,
So you go from the second story. Who are them? And he looks
I
up.
thought I was still like there. The kids are.
Where are you?
I'm in like I assume main room.
So you're in the main room. Are you at the front door? He's at the front door.
I'm at the front
Yeah.
door, like right
Yeah,
in case someone tries to
I'm
force
like
their way
behind
in.
him.
Okay, so
like
the door's
outside.
open, so you're just kind of standing behind him,
Yeah,
speaking over his shoulder.
I imagined it was a door frame. He had stepped down,
Right.
and then there's just three fucking stooges behind him.
Okay.
I imagine.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay, okay.
That's what I imagine.
So,
Well, it's
All
Three
right.
Stooges and two
You are
Skeletons.
so he just looks. I just need the paint. If you need to know, I come with the crows. I just want an easy passing through.
I'm gonna use Frightened Presence on him. Intimidate.
All right, what is it?
It's a 16 Wisdom save.
How do I not? There it is. Oh, natural 18.
Damn.
He just turns at
He
you.
probably doesn't notice that at all then.
I think that you can pay me now, or I shall come back in a moment with the rest of my caravan. It can be up to you.
where's the rest of your? What?
They're in town. We come and we collect.
Oh, it's party then.
It's a small party, if you want to say that. We can make it a party.
It is a party.
Well, I feel like if I'm reading the room right here, we're just gonna kill these guys, right? I'd say that out loud.
You just see him, he takes a step back.
So, Alkir, this is what we're planning on doing, right?
Yeah.
You see him just kind of motion his hand, and the other men just kind of.
The main guy.
So at
How
that,
are they situated?
Yeah, I'm assuming like
the
they're-
first one's up in the front, about 15 feet from the front door, and then the other three are about 40 to 50 feet back by the caravan, just kind of holding a crossbow up towards the front door.
Okay, I have enough range to do this. I'm immediately going to do this.
same time.
I was going to face step, and then I'm spiking dice.
Yeah, the main.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. How about we take like just a small little tiny break, roll for initiative, and then we'll get into it. So
That's fine.
roll for initiative. I'll take it down, and then we'll take just a quick little break here, and then we'll go right into it. 14. Trash. How trash?
21.
How trash?
9.
Okay.
15.
Oh, okay.
I was already sitting there like, if they try to force their way in, I'm gonna
So-
start bashing.
All right, so we'll go there. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back.
Wanting to actually.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Sorry we had some technical difficulties coming back from the break. We actually didn't continue the recording accidentally. We must have hit some hotkey and didn't notice it until we actually just finished. So I'm going to kind of TLDR the last about hour. I'm sorry, it was actually probably one of the better portions of the episode, but the episode was good, but I wanted to make sure that this got covered for story implications for those watching. Right after the break, we went right into combat with an individual that was known as, let me make sure, Jamiere Crestfall. He ended up representing the Crows, who was coming to claim some sort of tax or orphans. Fuck this, the Dragonborn Paladin decided to walk outside the player's newly established home, and while doing so, found out that he wasn't really going to take no for an answer. Once the party kind of discerned this, Life, standing behind Fuck This in the doorway, launched a Eldritch Blast, starting combat while the orphans and the rest of the inside kids that were inhabiting the place went underground with Laudendale. While this happened, the players fought it out, defeating not only the initial 4, but it ended up being another 3. So 7 combatants in total, with pretty single-handedly, and while doing so, ended up discerning that within the caravan that the players had looted, that was Jamiere Crestfall's and the Crows, found out that they had a ledger that was sent from a Duradel Herret, who had sent word from Audrey that they needed orphans for some religious deity for some reason. Players don't know. After discerning this, the players brought Jamiere Crestfall back to life because he was unconscious. They stabilized him, brought him back, and basically interrogated him and found out that Duradel Herret was summoning not only orphans but hundreds and thousands of them over the last couple of years, and he's been working for Duradel for quite a while for gold for any means. And the players found that they also were going to go and let me make sure, yeah, as well as 10 years. They found out that while Jamiere and these individuals were working for I'd say a group known as the Crows, they found that there's a code word that says time to fly to send them on their way. The players let Jamiere leave, and as he did so on his last moments before leaving the party and just kind of walking off into the horizon, he basically told them that, you know, if the players did go do something about Duradel Herret, that he wouldn't stop them, that he was just doing it essentially for money. And that was basically where we left off. So I apologize once again. We should be figuring out some of the technical stuff. It's got to be one of my hotkeys, but it is what it is. I apologize, but I just wanted to make sure that some of that got cleaned up. But yeah, combat followed by a little bit of lore, and then I don't think there's anything else here. No. Oh, there was one thing in the back of the caravan that the players found with this Jamiere Crestfall that had left. They found 2 unconscious tied up orphans that were in the back. So the party has actually acquired 2 more kids that they don't know the names of or who or what their purpose is. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching and have a great one.